Bonjour et bonne rediffusion à vous YouTube. Allez Tichon, continue l'histoire. Bon, on avait ça qui s'était écroulé, hein. Prenez garde, le sanctuaire peut s'écrouler à tout moment. Bon, les statues, elles se foutent toujours de moi.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Je connais pas encore.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius for terrible crimes against the Empire. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business,
Ça manque un peu de son, je crois.
I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood?
J'ai compris, mais attends, je te montre le son avant.
You are not off to a good start. When I ask you a question, I expect an answer. Is that understood? Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place? Oh, how very welcoming of you. You want me to let my guard down, is that it? You're not going to get your claws into me. I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult. Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The
Ouais.
Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quinctius did, those days are numbered. You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret? So you admit you're not allowed to leave. Threatening me is not going to help you, but in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me. And I saw the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe? A distinction without a difference. You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense.
Mais tu vas m'écouter,
Now,
oui?
tell me, where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues? You lot are practicing human sacrifice too. You people disgust me. Yes, because I'm the real villain here. It's all clear to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists, there's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to
Coin,
redeem
coin.
yourself by
Coucou
telling me where
Terali.
Quinctius is. Do not waste it. Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive eyes, one green and one blue. He's also known to have delusions of grandeur.
Je l'ai pas fait gaffe encore, tes yeux verront.
Cult are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process. Who are you to challenge what the Emperor says? Were you there? Do you have spies and scouts all over Rome, like he does? No, you do not. This is your last chance. Are you going to tell me where he is or not?
Ben non, je sais pas parce que je sais pas c'est qui.
Then you're of no use to me. Do you have any last words? Well, I'd say that's rather convenient, since I was planning to kill you all anyway.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oh faux, donne-moi ton arc, toi. Non, tu veux pas. Alors, du coup, il faut qu'on recourt. Oh. Je sais même pas si je vais y arriver, là, du coup. Bon, ça commence bien. Ah oui, attention spoiler, il faut pas que j'oublie que quand on prend le truc blanc, il faut dire attention spoiler. Bonjour, c'est encore moi.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost? Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening. Yulia? Oh no. All right, I can do that. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this. Don't you just love springtime?
Je pourrais y aller plus vite que toi en plus, du coup.
Help! You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. Real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule. Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide.
Toi, il faudrait que t'ailles pas dans le temple, sinon tu vas encore te faire écraser. Oui, c'est monsieur propre.
What? Why? All right, fine. Come and find me my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Et moi, si j'y vais dedans, ça s'écroule aussi ou pas? Elle s'écroule aussi. C'était pas une bonne idée. Bon, par contre, j'ai toujours pas trouvé comment retirer les vibrations là-dedans. Je fasse attention. Bon, du coup, on n'y va pas, hein. Ça fait mal. Alors, lui, faut que j'arrive. Lui, comment on va le choper, lui? Et du coup, attends. J'ai tout... Non, non, oui. Alors, trouver moyen de... Alors, ça, on sait. Et lui, il va être où? Attends.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Youp. Ouais, mais... moi aussi, je suis grogné.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. No idea what you're talking about? Yes, so what? What are you going to do about it? And why should I? The one true God says that for man to lie with another man.
Il fait ce qu'il veut, le monsieur. S'il veut dormir avec un autre monsieur, il dort avec un autre monsieur.
His presence here is a threat to us all. Well, I don't know. Maybe God hasn't noticed yet. But when he does, we're going to have a problem. There's only one true God. And he laid waste to Sodom and Gomorrah. Because of exactly this.
Oh, le cul-cul, il fait mal aux oreilles, non?
I am doing that. If I was about to get everyone else killed, I would want someone to stop me. I don't like where this is going. I have no idea what you're talking about. And unless you want your jaw broken, I think it's best if you don't ever talk to me again. I have nothing to say to you, kaput merde.
Comment il m'insulte? Mais du coup, je peux plus parler.
I have nothing to say to you, kaput merde.
Alors... Théophilus s'est livré à des orgies avec 4 femmes ici. Oui, oui, il les a toutes déçues. Je crois qu'on l'avait déjà lu celui-là. Bon.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did.
Bon.
Nice to talk to you.
Du coup, ça change rien, lui. Toi, t'es un emmerdeur.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. My friend, your words intrigue me more and more. But yes, very well. Ask me what you will. I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Par où je vais aller, du coup? Ouais, gros. Toi aussi, gros.
I have nothing to say to you, kaput merde.
Ok, donc c'est raté pour lui. Va falloir que je prenne une autre quête. On va faire celle-là. L'autre, il doit être là-haut, normalement. J'espère que j'arrive pas trop tard, il a pas sauté. Allez, là, 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 là. Attends, j'avais une clé de plus. Elle m'ouvre pas ici. Non, elle ouvre pas là encore. Donc on n'a pas cette clé là. J'ai pas le temps de te parler.
I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the golden rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far? That's good, in a sense. If you're not on edge, you've not been paying attention. But on the bright side, once you've been here a few months, well, it's slightly less terrifying anyway. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the golden rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned. All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh, no.
Je vais bien, je vais bien. J'essaye de le sauver avant qu'il saute.
Pierce, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. that what you want?
Laisse-moi me
I'm sorry,
parler.
but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him. Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone. Well, if you say so. You don't understand.
Coucou, Monsieur Gaga.
I just want it all to be over.
Alors, coucou ici, comment ça va? Tout se passe bien. Merci beaucoup pour ton 4e mois d'abonnement. Pour le moment, tu vas bien. J'essaie de sauver le monsieur, on verra bien.
It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact. And she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that. Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts. Yulia and I are in debt bondage to Malleolus. We might as well be slaves. And that's how much it will take to buy our freedom.
2000, je sais même pas si je les ai.
So, do you have the money or not? Really? Wait. So, I guess you'd want me to work for you then. You'd do that for us? A couple of complete strangers?
Une solution permanente, bien sûr.
It seems today we are both blessed. This did not turn out how I thought.
Non, j'ai déjà fait sauter Gaga.
I never thought people like you existed. Thank you. I'll go and pay off our debts immediately. I just wish there was some way I could repay you. But I have nothing but the tunic on my back. I'll go and take care of things with Malleolus and tell Yulia the good news. Thanks again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for us.
Ouf, il a pas sauté. C'est bon, il a pas sauté cette fois-ci. Bon, par contre, dans le temple, on n'a rien trouvé, il me semble. Il n'y avait pas... Non, il n'y avait rien par là. On va essayer de descendre par là. Je sais pas si qu'il y a. Ah, on passe à travers. Non, je passe à travers. Ce sera pas par là. Je suis pas sûre que c'était le bon chemin non plus pour redescendre, mais bon, on va faire avec. Je suis où là? Bon, là, c'est pas volé par ici, bon, on peut se permettre. C'est une échelle, monte. On connaît pas par là, alors on visite. Oui, je t'entends. Mais ici, j'arrive pas à y aller. Non, ça marche pas. Bon, on redescend, on recourt, on refait le tour. Oui. Ah oui, ça fait mal. Faire attention. Bon. Bon. Non, par là, j'avais rien trouvé. Toi, je t'ai pas trop parlé, je crois.
What is it, citizen?
Alors, quelle est ton histoire à toi?
But there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughter, I should say, and the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals. I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing alright for myself, 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl and pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some genetricum fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose. Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens the mind, as labour does the body. That said, Centilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit. He's one of the better commanders I've ever had. That's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that. Not that it's any of your business, but my loyalty is and always will be with Sentius. Unfortunately, I don't think my vote is going to make any difference today. See, Domitius has been going around town, shoring up votes for Malleolus with lies, bribery and intimidation. The man's a savage, but he's a gladiator, so people fear and respect him more than they should. Sentius knows about it, of course, but he doesn't have the same rat cunning as Malleolus. This place will be different with that sleaze at the helm. But I try not to worry about things I can't change. I appreciate the thought, but you're new here. and I just can't see how you could make an impact.
Hypnotisé par la danse des fougères en arrière-plan.
In any
Ah ouais, t'es rallié à ce
if you're
point-là?
interested in the election, go and have a chat with Equitia, the Vestal priestess. She'll be overseeing proceedings.
Et qui tient la Vestal? Je crois pas l'avoir croisée celle-là.
I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
Alors. Oh, mets en mode lecture parce que... Aurélia. Classe roturière. Occupation tavernière. Lieu de vie. Taverne dans les bas quartiers. Note prétend connaître une issue. Claudia. Patricienne. Occupation épouse de Malolus. Villa centre. Note, y a rien. Désus roturier. Marchand général. Au forum. Domitius roturier. Occupation garde de bas quartier. Dilius roturier incapable de travailler. Bas quartier emprisonné dans un entrepôt, oui, on l'a vu. Equitia patricienne Vestal. Villa inférieure. Roturière boulangère bas quartier. Roturier fermier. Lieu de vie bas quartier. Georgius marchand de vêtements, on l'a vu. Hannibal. Fouille dans les déchets. Bas quartier. Mort dans la citerne, point d'interrogation. Je sais pas. Je me sens pas la Roissus, roturier garde, bas quartier. Étranger, pêcheur, bas quartier, portée disparue. Ok. Patricienne, ébauche à tête, villa, milieu. Coiffeuse, bas quartier, refuse de travailler. Étrangère, soigneuse, bas quartier. Prêteur n'est pas digne de confiance, oui, ça va, ok. S'est enfermé dans le palais, ouais. Octavia, ménage, jardinage, villa inférieure. Patrouille, bas quartier, de plus en plus stressé, refuse. Santia, patricienne.
Of course. All right.
Merci. Ah tiens, tu vas te promener maintenant. Toi, je t'ai pas causé.
How's it feel knowing your man's doomed to lose the election today?
If you're trying to goad me into an argument, it won't work. I'm a stoic, remember?
If the old man couldn't even keep his own
Ok,
daughter
ok,
safe,
ok, on va
how
pas
can
lui
anyone
parler.
trust him to keep us safe, eh?
Why do I get the feeling?
Là, on a fouillé la dernière fois, je crois. J'ai déjà fouillé. Faut que je me plante de boutons comme la dernière fois parce que sinon on va falloir courir. Hein. Tout. Note pour Octavia. Oui, ça on l'a fait. On l'a lu au moins. Vas-y, donne-moi une quête. Déjà, ce sera peut-être un peu... Si je retournais dans le... Oui.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
T'es qui, toi?
A new face, Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Oh my, I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?" The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Okay.
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here? Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
J'en sais rien.
I see. I wonder if... No. I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns. Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
Oui, mais...
Then what is it? Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
Une pièce, oui.
Yes, I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? What else? Yes, I also had such an encounter. It's as I feared.
Okay.
I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes?
Oui.
I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood? Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths. What? How could you know that? And why are you talking to me instead of doing something about it? Please, go and stop him, and come back to me once we're no longer in danger.
Bon, bah, une nouvelle quête de plus.
As always, priestess.
Any news about Centilla, Navia, or Kabash?
No sign of any of them, I'm afraid. But we do have a newcomer. Strangely dressed woman. Pretty though. Funny accent too.
A traveler from a faraway land, then. Then let's make sure she feels welcome, shall we?
Of course, priestess.
Elle est partie, elle. Bon, celle-là est partie. Je sais pas où elle s'est barrée. Alors, qu'est-ce que t'as à me dire, toi?
Feeling all right? Sure. What do you want to know? Gladly. That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
Shh, I'm hiding. Did you stop him? What are you waiting for?
Ouais, ok. Secundus et Sistera sont restés ensemble jusqu'à la fin. Ok.
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's worth a fortune.
Salve. Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and
Ouais.
it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them? Oh, come on. I just did as you asked. The least you can do is level with me. I'll keep it between us. I promise.
Vas-y. Je te l'avais déjà dit.
Toying with me, right?
Mais c'est pas grave.
You're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus.
Mais oui, mais on sait qui c'est.
Greek king, a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again, for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were. Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. And you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
Merci.
Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend. I saw you slide down that rope before. Very impressive. And strange, too, since that device you use is exactly the same as one I've been working on for weeks. Oh, of course. It's because I already
Ben oui,
gave it
tu
to
me
you
l'as
in the previous time loop,
donné.
isn't it? Anyway, I'm sorry to ask, but is there any chance you'd be willing to do me a favor?
Vas-y.
Well, I've been trying to get this rare flower from the rock spire in the middle of the lake. It's too steep to climb, so I hung a rope over the lake and made this pulley device, only I couldn't quite summon the nerve to use it. Do you think you could use the device again and try to get that flower for me?
Bien sûr.
Thank you. It would help me a lot. There's no rush, just whenever you get a chance. All right. See you around.
Vas-y, je vais aller chercher ta fleur. Quoi?
I have nothing to say to you, caput merde.
Mais caput de merde à toi-même. Hein. Bon, mais il va arrêter de me dire ça, lui. Il faut que je tombe de là-haut, je suppose. Je vais pas mourir, hein. Bon, on essaye, hein. Raté. On recommence. Allez, on fait un petit tour de... Un suicide, rallye. J'ai dit des bêtises. Tu ne voleras point, tu ne blesseras autrui, tu ne... De toute évidence, l'auteur n'a pas pu le temps de terminer. J'ai pas trop été par là, moi. Faut que tu te bouges, toi. Peut-être que quand je ferai une connerie et que toutes les statues elles vont bouger, je vais pouvoir passer. Mais déjà, on va essayer de faire la fleur. Là. On recommence. Ah. Trop loin. Je vais jamais y arriver là-dedans. Bah quoi, j'ai pas le droit de sauter en plein vol comme ça, t'es allé, tu crois? Je vois pas d'autre... Il y a pas de corde, y a pas... J'ai pas moyen de sauter, de y arriver, donc... Pour ça. Encore raté. On va y arriver, on va y arriver, on va y arriver, on va y arriver. Ça vous donne pas trop le tournis quand je cours comme ça, que je tourne tout? Ça va. Presque. On recommence. On y était dessus. Pourquoi j'ai pas tendu? Je sais pas pourquoi tu veux la fleur, mais t'as intérêt d'avoir une bonne raison, Coco. Hein. Non! Je vais y arriver! J'ai loupé la corde là, non? Et ça va trop loin. Allez, cherche pas, t'as pas le choix, faut faire ça.
Shalom. Scintilla and I were in love. And then, 22 days ago, she went missing. All right.
Bon.
One night a few months ago, when I was cleaning Malleolus's villa, I heard a young woman singing. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. I wasn't allowed out, so once everyone else was asleep, I climbed up the inside of the villa and onto the roof, just to see where that sound was coming from. And that's when I saw her. Standing in the garden of the magistrate's villa, I just sat there on the roof, listening to her with my chin on my knees. And for the first time in a long time,
Je veux bien savoir comment tu grimpes sur le truc, ça m'arrangerait.
And then she looked up and saw me and she smiled. I knew at that moment the fates had brought me to her, and from the moment she asked my name with this warmth and curiosity, I knew I'd have done anything for her. And so for weeks on end, each night I'd climb out of the villa and into her father's garden. We'd hold hands and talk about all the things we'd do once we got out of here, like having our own vineyard. And then one morning I woke up and everyone was out searching for her. They said she'd vanished in the night. All I could do was keep my
Oui,
head
j'aimerais
down
bien
and
apprendre
try to
l'escalade
hide
parce que la
from the
dernière fois,
sight
je me
of
suis
myself I
retrouvée
was.
coincée dans un endroit où je devais escalader et je me suis coincée dans le buisson et il est plein de grandes pentes.
All I know is she loved me. And if she had known a way out, she would have told me. She'd never have taken her own life. And there's no way anybody could have killed her under the golden rule. I can't prove it, but I just know she's still alive somehow. Even now, it's as if I can hear her voice in my head, crying out to me. That can only mean one thing. Somebody abducted her. I have no idea how, or who would want to do something like that to such a sweet, lovely girl. But what else could have happened?
Mais non, je veux pas l'accuser.
Malleolus had something to do with it. He is without doubt the most evil man I have ever known. I have no idea where he'd be keeping her, but there is one room in his villa, upstairs, which is always locked. I've never seen the inside of it, and I haven't been able to steal a key without breaking the golden rule. But I have a feeling that if you could get in there somehow, it would shed light on a great many things.
Okay.
Really? I was sure he was hiding something in there. I feel like I've looked everywhere. At least everywhere I could get to. There are still two places I've never been able to reach. First, the palace. If Navia managed to get in, then I suppose Centilla could have too. The only other place she could be is somewhere in the cistern network. I remember hearing that Dooley had been poking around in the upper cistern before he was locked up. So you could ask him about it, I suppose.
Oui, je dois essayer de l'aider. Merci. C'est tout, allez, on se casse.
All right, friend. Thanks for the chat.
Y'a rien, du coup tu m'as donné une quête en plus encore. Bon, on retente d'attraper la plante. J'ai loupé le coche, là. Mais pourquoi ça me fait ça? J'en ai marre. Je peux pas prendre la tyrolienne à l'envers. J'y étais tout à l'heure, ça monte, kikine. Uch. 15 fois trop loin là. Est-ce que on va y arriver? Coucou toi. J'ai déjà parlé tout à l'heure. T'es allé, je te passe la manette, tu veux y arriver? Tu crois? Tu me montres comment on fait? Attends. Pourquoi je peux pas descendre? Alors. Monte! Monte! Pourquoi je peux pas sauter? Monte là-haut! Je veux monter là-haut. Mais genre, tu peux pas sauter là. Galérius, tes quêtes, elles sont galères. Mais il est vilain avec moi. m'énerve. C'est la fleur de Galerius, donc... Ouais, salvé. Eh, ta fleur, elle est chiante. Tu veux pas aller la chercher à ma place?
Salve again, my Sisyphean friend. Now, what's on your mind? I've bounced the idea around once or twice, mainly as a way of getting Dooley set free. God knows Sentius is never gonna do it. But from what I hear, Malleolus has the election stitched up. Nobody's gonna take him on and win. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, he talks a lot about freedom, so I'm hoping if he's elected, he'll release Dooley from his cell. That's good enough for me.
Alors,
And how could you know that? I mean, I don't like the man, but I don't see how you could know a thing like that. I suppose you're right. I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is
la
almost
fleur de Monsieur Propre, c'est peut-être pour faire un nouveau produit ménager. T'es rallye, t'as bouffé un clown aujourd'hui. Allez.
All right, friend. Hope you find a way to break that cycle you're in.
Bon, regarde-moi faire le singe et donne-moi un conseil. Moi, j'essaie une dernière fois et puis... je crois qu'on va essayer autre chose après parce que sinon... J'avais dit que c'était la dernière fois. Il est parti là, ok. Hey Galerius, je te jure, ta fleur c'était galère. C'est dans les champs, oui. Coucou Galerius. C'est ta fleur.
Brilliant! You did it! Well done! This is going to make her so happy. Equitia, I mean. Now I just have to figure out how to give it to her. What I really want to do is walk up to her, give her the flower, and confess I've been madly in love with her since the moment we met. But on the other hand, I can't shake the feeling that the consequences could be... terrible. You mean, aside from her execution? You see, Equitia is a Vestal priestess, meaning she's taken a vow of chastity, the breaking of which would be an extremely serious affront to the gods and a capital offense. Even if she was just suspected of being unchaste, it could lead to her execution. Unchaste Vestals get buried alive. Oh, and I'd get flogged to death for good measure. But at the same time, she's just so kind and graceful. I feel so much love for her that if I don't tell her, it'll burn a hole in my chest. I don't know what to do. What do you think? What would you do?
On lui dit quoi? Il a qu'à l'aimer, on verra bien si ça fait des bêtises. L'amour fou, la distance ou il tourne la page? T'as envie de quoi, Terali? C'est toi qui choisis. La réponse de Terali est Et la suite? Ouais, mais de toute façon, je peux recommencer la journée, hein, Terali. Puis oui, elles sont sévères, mais elles sont d'époque, hein. Elle est censée être vierge, la Vesta. Si ça va pas, t'inquiète, hein, on recommence. Hein. L'amour fou. Allez.
Now that I hear you say that out loud, I hear how crazy it is. I think maybe I need to be a bit more cautious. What I need is a go-between. Someone who can tell her how I feel and find out how she feels without risking her life. What do you say? Do you think you could help me one more time?
Oh, c'est nous qui allons faire le pigeon. Oui, je vais t'aider.
Wonderful! Now, all I need you to do is give her the flower and tell her it's from a secret admirer. Tell her I'll keep my distance and that I just want her to know that she's loved.
Oui, t'es adorable, monsieur propre.
Come back as quick as you can and tell me what she says.
Alors, la vista, elle est où la vista? La vista, elle est par là-bas. Qu'est-ce que tu fous là, toi? La vista. Salut à toi aussi. On fait la vista et après on s'en va, on s'enfuit. Pourquoi j'ai le point là-bas alors qu'elle était là? T'as changé de place? Encore toi là? Ah mais j'ai pas visité ici. Ah si, j'ai visité.
Let me know when you've cleared the way to the baths.
Non mais j'ai autre chose à te dire.
Let me know when you've cleared the way to the baths.
Hello? Hello? Have we met before? My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then...
Bon bah t'auras pas la suite. Hein. Pourquoi elle ressemble à Gollum? Puisque je sais pas Terali. Mais j'aurais pas dit Gollum, mais si tu veux.
And made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find him. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns. But when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me. Except my friend Galerius. And Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
Merci. Bye bye. Bon, on peut toujours pas te parler à toi. Je dois te donner une fleur. Hein.
Let me know when you've cleared the way to the baths.
Chut, allez, sionte. La note, on l'a lue. Bon. On essaye monsieur avec son arc là.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is? Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our
Je vais le tuer, hein. Je lui ai dit qu'il aille dans le machin. Il va mourir, ça va être ma faute. Attends, j'ai juste envie d'aller le voir. Allez, va dans le petit temple là. Et fais-moi une petite crêpe.
Filthy, lying degenerate.
Avis de prime. Sur ordre de l'empereur Néron, tous les loyaux fils de Rome sont sommés de pourchasser et d'exécuter le pyromane et assassin Tiberius Quintius Crispus, un citoyen ordinaire du quartier d'Aventin à Rome. Il a 40 et 50 ans. Il a Il est de taille et de corpulence moyenne, il a les cheveux bruns et les yeux de couleurs différentes, un vert, un bleu. Il n'a pas de barbe, il fréquente les membres d'une secte et est atteint de folie des grandeurs. Bon, du coup, c'est bon. Du coup, la voie est libre. On y va?
I take it you've cleared the way to the baths? Follow
Don't
me.
you just love
But don't
springtime?
come too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Ça marche pas, hein. Bon, on n'a pas visité encore les bains. Donc on va faire une petite visite. Hein. Et les statues, arrêtez de mater. Hein. Je vous entends, vous tournez la tête. Une mosaïque romaine antique qui représente un dieu transformant un homme en or. Et ça fait des trucs chelous dans l'eau quand même, hein. Bon, j'ai rien vu de spécial dans l'eau du coup.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was Charon, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means. I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you
nous fait des informations.
So I'll try to answer them if I can. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named qu'en on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Qu'en's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks. To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poet described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Ok, va falloir que je la retrouve. Pourquoi il n'y a pas assez de monde aux enfers?
In the stories, qu'en would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river, but that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems qu'en didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not. No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help, I promise you. That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
Bah c'est bon, on a fait le tour.
We have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter, Orpheus, a Thracian poet, Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra, and Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
On va essayer, hein.
All Romans try to avoid saying it.
Des bisous, Terali.
The reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril. As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim...
Mariée de force et coincée aux enfers.
The god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage. It is. The gods are a mirror image of mankind, as far as cruelty is concerned, I'm afraid. If the stories are true, I imagine she's as desperate to escape as we are. If she really did help Orpheus and Sisyphus, perhaps she'll help us too. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels? Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then
Tu me l'as
again,
pas demandé.
I suppose you were
Si
worried
tu me l'avais
I'd
demandé,
think
je
it
te
was
l'aurais
Mars'
dit.
Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say? Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out? Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth.
Bon, allez, la dernière.
Everyone's so blunt where you're from. Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod.
Comment ça, je suis pas Hercule? Elle est en train de dire que j'ai des bras en spaghetti.
I'll admit, you do seem different to anyone I've ever met. And even that lamp of yours looks like something Prometheus might have stolen from the gods. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed.
Oui, il manque des plaques et je l'ai vu ça.
It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again. It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a
Romain,
different
grec et égyptien et un que je ne connais pas.
Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Bon. Vu qu'elle arrête. Vu qu'elle arrête pas de discuter, on va faire la pause maintenant parce que ça fait 1h30 déjà. Donc, merci de nous avoir regardé YouTube. On reprendra où on en était juste après. Des bisous, à bientôt.